welcome to the Rare Executives podcast, Leaders in AI and FinTech. And today we're very lucky to have with us Sandeep Sinha, founder and CEO of Medini and Arphicus. So, Sandeep, how are you?
All good, Maurice. Thank you for letting us join over and have a conversation with you. Thank you for your
And
time.
no problem at all. And I think you've just gone through Diwali.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is out there for us.
Well, listen, as we say, I wish you good health and well-being.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, and but it was there for a festive season over for us, and it has been pretty amazing out there.
And now back to work again, Sandeep.
Yeah, over on the side, after festive season, it becomes difficult over for us to actually join it. But yeah, means we got back to work and now still there in the festive mode, but it started working out there for us.
Very good, very good. And what beautiful place are you today then? Where have we got you? Are you in India?
So yeah, currently Maurice, I'm there in India. So I'm there in Uttarakhand, one of valley region out there in India, one of the beautiful valleys out there. So Himalayas ranges out there in the Uttarakhand. So I'm currently out there. There I'm here for a project where we are working ourselves up across with some of villages out there for the betterment and upliftment of society. And yeah, working after a festive season, as I said earlier.
Fantastic. Well, look, I know you're a busy guy, right? As all you founders are. So thanks for fitting this in your day. Look, for all the listeners, just in terms of how this works, it's kind of 30 minutes, very informal, sort of Q&A session. The theme today really is one that's on a lot of people's lips. Obviously, we've got an aging population worldwide, AI-powered innovation in healthcare. What are the challenges and opportunities for growing companies? So just in terms of getting us started, Sandeep, let's talk a little bit about you and the organization. So tell us first of all, in summary, what the company does.
So, on a brief note, Maurice, so Arphicus is basically a healthcare focused firm, which is, I'll say, a Gen AI based healthcare focused firm, which has created world's first software as a medical device, which is named as Medini. So, in a crisp slang, we call it as an SAMD. So,
Mhm.
what we ideally do, Medini is a multidisciplinary platform which integrates to any of the existing medical machineries and make the machineries smart. So there are four different verticals where we cater. Is one on the prognosis, diagnosis, triage over for the patients, where we do quick, rapid, affordable, and accurate diagnosing of the people. Secondly, we help biopharmas to help them with in silico virtual clinical trials, BAB clinical trials, antimicrobial resistance framework. Just on a this note, if I would say so, to develop a precision medicine,
Mhm.
what biopharma does. Thirdly, the insurtech sectors use Medni for medical policy underwritings, medical claim settlements, medical policy personalization. So we save 85% of the operating cost of our insurtech clients.
Mhm.
And lastly, as Arphicus has a very core vision to create an impact in the society. So we cater to the social responsibility projects along with some of our renowned philanthropists out there. So we just aim ourselves so how to bring impact in the society and uplift the underserved sections of the society. So this is what, on a crisp note, is what Medini is. We are a strong team of 108. Currently, we operate ourselves in 16 plus countries with our business.
Wow. Listen, Sandeep, you guys, when we think of founders of AI companies now, you're all like superheroes, so we're all really interested in your journey and the company mission there. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start the company and what vision do you have for AI's role in healthcare?
Um, Maurice, over on the part, first of all, I'm a first gen entrepreneur, so I don't have any business background before starting this venture. So I used to serve over in a known software technology firm earlier during when I graduated from the college,
Mhm.
and I worked there for almost all. It has been 4.5 years, which I worked along with them. I used to develop big models over for biopharma segments. Is there when I realized how technology could be well versed over in medical field and how we could generate any impact. Secondly, why we started along with Arphicus is a very, very rooted story, which is very important over to us. So we are two co-founders, which concepted along with Arphicus. So me and Mr. Anurag Jain. So Anurag, my co-founder, actually has lost his younger sister, and at a very young age of just 17, due to late diagnosis of breast cancer. So that was one of a very pivotal aspect over for us when we realized that there should be a technology driven healthcare where we could, if we'll have an early prognosis of the diseases, the person gets cured faster, the person gets cured early, and we could save millions of lives. I had an experience over in, as I said, over in biopharma, so some touch over in the medical. I belong from a medical family background, so I'm the alone black sheep of my family, alone techie. Entire personas are out there for medical. So my experience, his vision is where we combined ourselves, and the Arphicus born over for us. Arphicus itself has Arphicus, the name itself has a very strong story. So it is Abacus, which was the first computer, and artificial intelligence. So we mix both the words, and the word of Arphicus is coined over for us. And then when we concepted along with Arphicus, we wanted to create a product, and we created ourselves, but we were unable to name that product. So we took the name of Medini. Medini, actually, the word is there from a Hindu scripture which defines healthy mother nature. So that completely aligns that what we wanted to do. So we kept ourselves with the name Medini, and then we rolled ourselves up.
Do you know what, Sandy? What a brilliant reason, for setting up a company like that. Fantastic. Look, can you share some of the challenges with us that you faced then when building an AI-based healthcare startup, particularly in India?
Yeah. So, Maurice, the challenges has been many actually. So it has been a roller coaster ride over for us since we started ourselves. Majorly when there is a country like India here, I'll say doctors are a bit skeptical. So the first challenge which we used to face when we started ourselves across is doctors were like, "Are you replacing us?" So we were like, "No, no, it is not a replacement to you. It is a support to you." Is that's what
Mhm.
we placed ourselves. Still, doctors were skeptical out there. So that is, but over on a longer gestation period means after COVID, I guess so. Medical fraternity started adopting technology. That okay, technology could bring changes. This was not the case earlier before COVID. So that is, I'll say, COVID actually has created a havoc, but it actually has inspired many of us to create a technology-based innovation out there in healthcare. The second challenge which we actually had faced out that when you develop any of the solutions out in healthcare, you don't have data, and the data are quite stringent. You can't just take data from any of the patient. You can't just share it across because that is very very person specific.
Mhm.
To gain that much of data so that your technology solution should be very accurate so that you could roll yourselves in the market was very difficult. What we ideally had done ourselves, and but from this podcast, I would say to each and everyone who would be a listener who had a vision to create the solution of their in healthcare is very very easy approach, but a different thinking is we did ourselves on a retrospective training prospective testing. So what we had done, we used to deploy our solution at a very small center. We don't have very much hiccup. We just gain out 10 patients out there, retrain our solutions from 10 patients, and then 10 plus 10, then again 20, then 20 plus 10, 30. And that's how we right now have reached in 5 years to 34 million patients with our solutions. The third, obviously, is costings over in healthcare. So until and unless you don't save anything from the pocket of the patients, your solution would not create any value. So as I said, quick, rapid, affordable, and accurate is the core crux of Medini, is what we instilled ourselves. And yeah, if you play all these cards right, so that maybe what we had done, and we are here where we are.
Do you know what, Sandy? When I think of India, it's like a perfect storm, really, for you guys, because I think of brilliant doctors, brilliant techies, and a billion population. And they put all that together, really, it makes perfect sense. Look, what about your values? What are the values that shape your approach to creating affordable and accessible healthcare solutions?
So, Maurice, when creating impact-driven organization is very very good, very very difficult, because what happens when you are creating any impact in the society, it does not generates that much of revenue which business wants, and when the business wants to sustain. Because at the end of the day, when you do the filing at the last, or at the last fiscal year, it is your numbers. So okay, you had done this amount of revenue, okay, the company is growing. When you go it over to any of the VCs don't ask, okay, theek hai, whatever impact you have done, it's okay. What are the numbers, what are the financial numbers which you have generated? Very difficult when we iterated ourselves that we are creating values, but we are not generating revenues. So that time we realized that okay, creating values is on the one side which we mark, but generating revenue should be on the other side. So we took both the things on hands, and the core crux of when we are creating values in the society is helping the poor, underserved, women, ethnic minorities, people who are suffering from displacing events, and older adults who don't have any access to medical facilities, and they are dependent on any other source to have the medical facilities out there. There are areas which we have assessed, there they don't even have an access to a primary healthcare center. Primary healthcare center means they don't have a basic health amenities. So we are not talking with our urban facilities and all, but a basic healthcare facilities, and people are just succumbing to all the diseases they are facing right now. When I'm talking to you, so I feel myself pretty much privileged that the story of Arphicus is being that good that a person, an industry stalwart like you, is actually talking to me. So the impact which we have created so far is we have enabled 7,800 remotest places with high technology led healthcare,
Wow.
and we have impacted 25 million lives where they don't even have an access to a basic healthcare facilities. That's what the core, which I, when I sleep, I'll just I'll just give myself a thumbs up that okay, I had done something in spite of the business, is what obviously we are
Fantastic. I mean, every human, I mean, the most important thing is to be healthy. So, that's amazing.
doing.
Listen, takes us
Absolutely.
into the sort of second segment, really, just talking about your innovation and AI in healthcare. So could you explain then how Medini's AI technology works and what sets it apart then from the traditional diagnostic solutions?
So, Maurice, the Medini's entire technology, first of all, it is completely in-house. So, we ourselves have developed the solution. So, it was during the inception, me, my co-founder, had sat for a very long hours, almost all we have worked for 22 hours a day. So, to just develop the solution. So, we haven't taken any leave for almost all, it has been 4 years. But now we started taking Sunday as an off, but still Saturday is the working day over for us. So
Wow.
the entire technology is being built in-house, and it stands on four strong pillars of technology, which is named as which are our proprietary algorithms. So we have patented ourselves. So but these are MedXBird, MedXAkaze, ResNet 50, and Lalma Open Hathi models. These are the four main basic strands of the pillars, where the entire technology of Medini aligns. How it is differentiated with the traditional diagnostics framework is we understand with a very quick example over on the side. So if you just take the case of very nowadays a very common disease, so you'll say breast cancer, just taking
Mhm.
disease out there from an oncology vertical. So when we are talking even breast cancer detection holds three major challenges even right now when we are talking. First of all, for doing the entire diagnosing of breast cancer, a patient needs to undergo four mandatory tests. I'm marking it again. It is four mandatory tests. Includes tissue culture, assisted incisional biopsy, and mammogram. It is globally, means it is not like okay in India it is happening in APAC or in Europe and US, everywhere. It is the four mandatory tests which is happening.
Mhm.
Now, the second challenge includes for doing the entire diagnosing of breast cancer, a patient needs to shell out on an average 7 days and $350. That is on an average where a patient is shelling. And for doing the entire diagnosing of breast cancer,
Mhm.
what is the actual problem is there is no technology we could actually provide an accurate anomaly area. So what happens, a doctor removes more area of the affected portion, which is obviously loss of organ for a particular patient,
Mhm.
or removes lesser area of the affected portion. So the person again becomes susceptible to cancer. Now, how Medini has solved these problems with our methods bird functioning, where a patient needs to undergo four tests here, which just alone take a mammogram input, provide the results with a similar set of efficacies what a patient was getting after doing four tests. So we have cut short the number of diagnosing tests from four to just single one, where a
Mhm.
patient was shelling 7 days and $350. Here, we provide the results in just 53 seconds and in just $7. Now, where with our metrics ACASE functioning, we provide an accurate anomaly area. That means 1 mm of this area needs to be operated, and doctors operate only on the affected area. So the subsided tissues remain saved for any of the patients. So that's how it is quick, rapid, affordable, and accurate. And the same ecosystem is being replicated for all the other verticals. Right now, we cater to pulmonology, neurology, nephrology, cardiology, and oncology. Under these five verticals, we cater to 589 diseases. But the entire concept is the same, is how we are doing it. So we take one test, provide the results for all.
Sandy, that's amazing. To go from nothing to a service like that at minimal cost is incredible. Good for you. Kind of takes us into the next section, really, which is to do with money and scaling. Scaling and funding of an AI healthcare startup. I mean, what strategies have you been most effective for you in terms of securing funding and scaling Medini internationally?
So so Maurice, this is I'll definitely say that it is very one of a very difficult question out there. So what happens over in healthcare? There are few players which is available out there in the ecosystem, which understands how a healthcare works, because VC ecosystem, it ideally it works okay, this investment, this much return, and that's how it is. But understanding the technology led healthcare, it is very few when you actually delve yourself deep down into the ecosystem. Now, when we started ourselves, so we contacted almost all. It has our count is pretty high, I guess. So we have done 150 connects to VCs. So 150 VCs rejected us. That is globally. Okay, so not only in India. So we have connected down to everyone out there in the ecosystem. We tried to, and 153 to be very precise VCs has rejected us. And then there is one VC based out of Europe who actually has shown his interest and gave us the first check, and the rest is history over for us. And after that, uh, now where how that VC connected and what is the gist of that VC over to us is the actually on the two segments, is why now and why different. He asked me only two questions: why now and why different. So why now you started the solution, means is this solution not available in the market, and why different. So if the solutions are available, then why your solution is different. You just explain me two things, 10 minutes you have. and if I'll like it, then I'll give you the first check. And I hope so. Means I'll take that privilege that okay, in that 10 minutes I was able to explain the things correctly, because otherwise I could have fumbled. But to the listeners of this podcast, I'll definitely say that rejections of the VC is not a fundamental, not a base that your business is not working. You just require only one single connection. Reach out to maximum you can, and some or the other way, it definitely turn you around.
Listen, it's a great answer. I mean, how do you balance your growth then with maintaining your mission of affordability and accessibility, which is key?
So, so Maurice, over on the part is affordability and accessibilities are two different zones. So, what we do ideally when we create impact or values driven solutions engagement, so we directly connect ourselves with some of the great philanthropists out there, foundations. So we are not able to do it on our own. So we decided, okay, we should connect to these philanthropists. So we connected down to Melinda Gates Foundation. We even are working along with Adani's Foundation. We even are working with Nadar Foundations right now. So even with WHO, we are working. So these are the big foundations who help you out to create the impact at the last mile impact over on the. So that's how over on the segments is we created the impact. And on the part of accessibility and others, on the other side, we partner ourselves on the resellers arrangement in different geographies. So in spite of doing it on our own, it's the best way that when some person is out there in that particular domain in that country, they do it for us, and then we'll gain the entire solutions. And that's how it is over for us. So somehow the business gets pivoted over on the side, and we are earning to the chunk what we want for.
Listen, Sandeep, everybody wants to be a founder of an AI company, and it's funny because I've spoken to enough of them recently where I said, that's a tough job. I've said to them, what's it like? And they said, it's lonely. You're the guy at the wheel and you're making big decisions here. So what advice would you give to other AI healthcare startups, seeking to scale?
So, since Maurice, entrepreneurship journey itself is lonely factor. Okay, so I'll always say that you should include that word entrepreneurship with lonely. It's synonymous over. So you embrace the joy of your success. Might be there are
Mhm.
people who will embrace the joy of yourself, but you will be always alone to when you have the cries of your failure. So that time you'll find yourself alone. So it happens, and as I said earlier, so it has been 4 years that we have been working continuously without a single leave. Now we staged ourselves in a position, so we started ourselves for a Sunday, one day of leave in a week. So entrepreneurship itself is a very, very, very lonely journey, because many a times not your surroundings, not your family members are always aligned with you, because you are continuously working for your dream. It is your baby, or that you want to make something big and grow. So not everyone aligns on the job, and when it comes down to an additional spurt of AI, then it is umpteen more difficult. Because
Then it gets
so
really
it
hard.
is it is very hard. So it is like a cherry on the cake. So
Yeah.
lonely, and I'll make you additional over on the
Yeah.
additional loneliness out there for you. So it is because technology in expansion is expanding at quite faster pace.
Mhm.
So with the advent of this chat GPT over on the part, then you have Palm 2 models, then you have Gemini models over of Google, and then
Mhm.
technology is expanding rapidly, and you need to keep yourself up a pace. If you lose your pace, it's a technology driven business. If you lose the pace, your technology will be obsolete, and you would be out of the market. It's quite easy. You keep yourself up on the pace. You need to look for your business. You work for your entrepreneurship. It is very, very lonely, but only one thing I'll always say: if you have the zeal to make, If you want the things that the business in which you have started, if you want that zeal that you should grow and you should make that big, that is only one zeal which is required, and you will definitely make it big. No one can stop you.
Yeah, that's a good answer actually. I was talking to somebody the other day who wanted to get into my field, which was headhunting, only a young guy, and he was saying, what advice would you give me? And a very similar story to you, really. Basically work hard, work smart, and not every day is a good day. Celebrate your wins because obviously we beat
Yeah,
ourselves up when it goes badly, so we need to pat ourselves in the back when it goes well. And basically, if you're on the right path, just keep going. Sanjay, leads me nicely
absolutely.
into the last section, really, in terms of the future of AI and language learning. What do you see as the most exciting opportunities there for AI in healthcare over the next 5 to 10 years?
So, Maurice, technology is, as I said, it is advancing at a quite faster pace. But in another 5 to 10 years, when it comes down to AI and AI in healthcare or in the domain, so there are few sectors which I am watching on in my aspect, which is quite on boom. Is firstly, it is out there for precision medicine. It is absolutely one of a game changing aspects which is happening out there. So because precision medicine ideally accounts for one particular patient, the medicine development of a medicine based on the climatic, genetics, and lifestyle of particular, and then generating a medicine directly over for that. The second is obviously which the god of entrepreneurs like us is doing is a brain machine interface. Elon Musk, our so-called leader out there. So the brain machine interface, or you say the human computer interface, HCI or a BMI, is definitely the next big bet which is happening it over in healthcare. But one person should definitely focus. The thirdly is obviously on the genetics, is how the whether it is understanding the core genetics or modification of the genetics or genetics therapeutics, whatever you say, but genetics is the third big bet, which definitely it is happening over in AI. And fourth, and obviously it is 3D printing on the segment. So right now, uh, much more the entire industry is focused to have a printing of organs, so that there should not be any of the tampering of any other patient's
Mhm,
organs
mhm.
or something. So the 3D printing of the organs is the next big bet. And fifth is obviously the diagnostic, because I belong from the diagnostics vertical. So I'll always say that fifth is obviously. So these are the five big bet, which obviously aligns in them with that 5 to 10 years. Definitely it is.
Sandy, there's some big opportunities in there. Now, leads me into Medini. How are you guys preparing for the future then? And what are your long-term goals for the company?
So, Maurice, I say it over in multiple podiums. So there is a line which ideally accounts over in Hindi. It is said by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. So he said, "Arogyam Paramam Bhagyam, Swasthayam Sarvartha Sadhanam." So this line basically means that everyone be blessed with good health, and good health makes everything else possible. So
Mhm,
we align completely on this one particular line. We want Medini to be a one-stop solution for the entire segments of healthcare. Right now, we are catering with our biopharmas. We are catering with precision medicine. We are obviously there into diagnosing triage. We currently are working along with Stanford and Harvard on generation of human-computer interface, which we named our product named as Anak, which we started our prototyping of that. So that basically Anak, that our future product will provide us self-diagnosing capabilities. So it will lie under the carpex one of the skin. It will be non-invasive, and it will create a self-diagnosing capabilities for every human out there. So that's what we are right now doing with our solutions. So we are there into the HCI, we are there into the precision medicine. We obviously are doing our genetics based the therapeutics out there, prognosis stage. So that's why I say Medini is a multi-modal framework. We currently are there into a $1 million business across 16 countries. definitely looking ourselves to make business ourselves in more than 150 plus countries out there with us, and hit ourselves with I'll say $1 billion business by end of 2026 is which we are targeting.
Wow. I can see why you never sleep. There's a lot going on there, Sandeep. Hey, listen, just to summarize the key points that we've discussed as we've gone through, which has been fascinating, by the way. We talked about your journey and obviously Medini's mission. We talked about the innovation and AI there in healthcare. We've talked about scaling and funding there for an AI healthcare startup. And then we talked about the future of AI and language learning. Just want to get any final thoughts from you, really, on that role of AI. I mean, do you have any sort of final advice for our listeners, particularly those working in healthcare or AI sectors?
So there are three pieces of advice, Maurice, which definitely I would like to give it over to listeners. Is first of all, as I said, right now healthcare it stands on very on is two I'll say strong pillars. Is whatever solution you are making, it should create a very strong values to the patients. Otherwise it will be obsolete. So strong values, when I say, so it should improve a patient's life, it should improve a patient's health, it should save costs. So these are the three strong pillars which any of the healthcare companies must focus themselves upon to. The second advice is obviously coming down to healthcare. Whenever you are seeking funding or whenever you are seeking any VCs out there, so I'll always say have one strategic investor on your board which understands your business, and then multiple financial VCs out there. So you require only one strategic investor. You don't require multiple strategic investors on your cap. One strategic investor is enough, and then pool money from whatever your corpus is to build your business from all the normal institutional VCs which is out there who even understands your business or don't understand your business. But one strategic investor is very, very important if you want to make it big. Third and more important is understand the aspects of changing technological landscape in healthcare, because it's very deep right now. A strong work, and I'll say very, very bigger work right now is being happened over in healthcare. And I have read over in the book to Tom J Ferguson. So he's one of a renowned person when it comes down to healthcare. He told things that AI is not made in healthcare to reduce error, reduce workloads, or you'll say, or curing any disease. It is made to just provide you a time honored approach of a patient centric driven, that what a doctor's touch or a doctor's trust will be built and strongly remain on the patient side. So patients require doctors for the cure, and that inference or that trust is what AI needs to build. That okay, patient should trust doctors and doctors should trust patient. And obviously entire development of your technology should be a responsible AI framework. Means whatever aspects you are generating, there should be no leverage of the data breach, or the data should not be breached of any of the patients. And whatever solutions which you are generating should be that damn accurate, because you are playing with humans life, and it is very important over for us.
Great advice. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. Look, you're that's a big topic, and there's a lot in there. How can our audience learn more about Medini and connect with you?
So we are easily be reachable with our website, which is www.arphicus.com. I'm pretty much available over in LinkedIn with my name of Sandeep Sinha. And you can directly mail to me. It is sandeep.sinha@arphicus.com. And for all other listeners, you could connect down to Maurice, and Maurice will make the necessary connections.
Absolutely. Which, to be honest, leads me nicely in. For anybody listening to this, and you've been fascinating. You're obviously an incredibly hard worker, Sandeep, which is amazing. and what a worthwhile cause there that you're pursuing. So I wish you well with that. But anybody who's enjoyed the podcast, really, we probably do these once a week. And really, if they want to subscribe, go onto YouTube, put in Rare Executives Podcast, and obviously just click on there going forward. Look, Sandy, it just falls to me to say, I know you're busy, and honestly, knowing you, I'm going off to have a cup of tea. You're probably going back to work again for what you've been saying. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of a very busy day. A genuinely fascinating subject, right, that affects all of us going forward. I wish you really well in what you're doing because it's going to impact on all of us. So thank you very much for your help.
Thank you, Maurice, and thank you for inviting me on your show, and thank you for giving me time. It was pleasure connecting with you and pleasure chatting with you over on the segments.
Thank you so much.